All right, so today we're diving deep into Harmonic Pulse Collective.
HPC.
Yeah, HPC. And they're not just a band, you know?
More like a movement, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Creating these really intricate soundscapes.
Blending electronica, ambient, experimental. It's all in there.
Absolutely. We've got all the research notes, articles, everything. So today we're going to, really unpack their creative process.
How they're navigating the industry, which
hmm
is, always a challenge.
For sure. And especially how they're using Spotify and TikTok.
Which is pretty unconventional for their sound.
Totally. So get ready, folks, because their story is, it's fascinating.
What strikes me about HPC is that they're atmospheric but catchy.
Right.
A lot of experimental music can be,
Hard to get into.
yeah, inaccessible.
Mhm.
But HPC just draws you in.
With those soundscapes.
Totally. They're almost cinematic.
It's like they're scoring movies that don't even exist.
Exactly.
And speaking of cinematic, I was reading that their music is often described as layered, almost visual.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, imagine a painter, building up a canvas.
Layer by layer.
Yeah, each one adding depth and texture.
Right.
HPC does that, but with sound, synths, rhythms, found sounds. It all comes together.
So you're not just listening to a song, you're experiencing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that goes back to their beginnings. They wanted to create something truly unique, immersive.
Transport you to another world.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is HPC isn't like a traditional band. It's a collective, always evolving.
Yeah, it's fluid. New artists coming in, going out, keeps things fresh.
Totally. I noticed in their early work, they were really into rhythm. Lots of syncopation, unusual time signatures.
You picked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love rhythmic complexity. Like in their track Echoes of Dawn, they shift from a standard 4/4 beat to a 7/8.
Really?
Yeah, and all that syncopation, accenting the offbeats, creates this tension.
That could be jarring in the wrong hands.
For sure. But they make it work. It's intentional, deliberate.
Not just noise for the sake of noise.
Right. They balance complexity and accessibility,
Yeah.
which I think comes down to the melody.
Yeah, the melodies are beautiful.
Even when the rhythms are challenging, they
Yeah.
always have that emotional resonance.
It's true. It can be melancholic, euphoric,
Yeah.
but always evocative.
It's that emotional depth that sets them apart. A lot of electronic music can feel cold, but HPC has this warmth.
A humanity to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how those melodies with the rhythms and the layered soundscapes all work together.
To create that emotional impact.
Exactly.
They craft these moments in the music like sonic snapshots, each designed to make you feel something specific.
Okay, so we've talked about their approach to sound, but I'm curious about their journey as a collective. How did they go from these experimental beginnings to gaining a wider audience?
Well, that's where their smart use of streaming platforms comes in.
Yeah.
Spotify, TikTok, they've really cracked the code.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they've used these platforms. They're not really known for favoring this kind of experimental music.
Right. But HPC has really made it work to their advantage.
So let's start with Spotify, right? I mean, it's the king for discovering music,
It is.
especially with their curated playlists. Discover Weekly.
Release radar.
Yeah, Release Radar. I feel like I've found so many new artists through those.
Me too. It's all algorithms.
Oh, yeah.
Really complex ones. And HPC has figured them out.
So it's not just about the music, it's about understanding the tech behind it.
Absolutely. It's like presenting your music in a way that Spotify understands.
Right.
Like using keywords.
Genre tags.
Yeah, so it gets categorized correctly.
It's like SEO for music.
Exactly. SEO for musicians.
Mhm.
They've also been really smart with those mood-based playlists. So they tag their tracks with specific moods.
Okay.
So then their music ends up on those playlists tailored to, like if you're feeling happy or sad.
That's clever.
It is. It's really smart.
So they're ahead of the game.
Yeah, they're thinking strategically.
Uh-huh.
And then on top of all that, they're also using DistroKid.
Oh, yeah, to manage getting their music everywhere.
Exactly. Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah.
Amazon Music. It just streamlines everything.
It's a game changer.
It is, especially for independent artists.
Yeah.
Saves them so much time and hassle.
So they're reaching as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets even more interesting. TikTok.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really think that their music would work there.
No, not at all. It's a total different vibe.
But they're killing it.
They are. It's
Yeah.
because they've understood the whole bite-sized content thing.
Short and sweet.
Exactly. So they create these little snippets, really catchy, and they just highlight the most earwormy parts of their music.
It's like they hacked the algorithm.
Yeah, they did. They totally
Okay.
get it. And it's not about making the music simpler.
Right.
It's about adapting it to TikTok.
And it's working.
It is. I've seen their music all over TikTok, like
Mm-hmm.
background music for these dance challenges.
It's true. Or even just creative edits, People using their music in all sorts of ways.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people probably don't even realize they're listening to HPC.
Right. They just hear the sound and they're like, oh, this is cool.
Exactly. It's like this subconscious discovery. You hear something you like, and then you dig deeper.
That's fascinating.
And it shows you how powerful sound is. It can transcend platforms.
So it's not about the big label anymore. It's about being smart and adaptable.
That's what HPC is proving. You can be independent and still break through.
So all this makes me even more excited to see what they do next. They've basically conquered Spotify. They've dominated TikTok. What's left?
Well, based on some of the recent interviews, it seems like they're not done pushing boundaries.
No.
They're looking at new technologies and creating, even more immersive experiences for their fans.
Now that sounds ambitious. Like, what are we talking here?
Buckle up, because this is where it gets really futuristic.
Yeah.
Think like virtual reality.
VR. Okay, so you're saying they want to bring people inside their music.
Yeah, like literally, you put on a VR headset and suddenly you're in one of their soundscapes.
That's wild.
360 visuals,
Yeah.
reacting to the music, maybe even interactive elements.
Whoa. So like a concert and a video game all at once.
Exactly. And they've been talking about like working with visual artists, programmers,
Yeah.
even AI.
I did read something about them experimenting with AI-generated visuals, like responding to the music in real time.
Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Their music with these constantly shifting, otherworldly visuals.
It'd be like watching a dream.
And they've mentioned interactive experiences too.
Interactive.
Yeah, like the listener can actually affect the music.
Oh, wow. So the listener becomes part of the creative process.
Exactly. It's blurring the lines between artist and audience, which is, really forward thinking.
It is. So it's not just music anymore. It's a whole world they're creating.
Yeah. And they're not stopping there. They're talking about like expanding their sound even further.
Really? In what way?
They've mentioned orchestral music, bringing in more organic instruments, maybe even collaborating with, artists from other genres.
Okay, now that would be interesting.
They're inspired by that orchestral sound and want to see how it works with their electronic stuff.
So like a symphony orchestra mixed with their synths and beats.
It's kind of mind-blowing
Yeah.
when you think about it, but that's what's so cool about HPC. They're not afraid to try anything.
They're true innovators, pushing the limits of what music can be.
Exactly. And in this digital age, with technology always changing, the possibilities are limitless.
It's really inspiring. They're not just making music, they're building a community.
Yeah.
Well, it's been amazing to explore their story. Those rhythms, the soundscapes, the way they've mastered the streaming world.
And they're not done yet.
They're just getting started.
Shaping the future of music.
So, folks, if you're looking for something truly unique, something that pushes boundaries, check out Harmonic Pulse Collective.
You can find them on Spotify.
Explore their world on TikTok.
And who knows what they'll come up with next.
Keep your ears open. And the next time you hear a song that really moves you, ask yourself, what else is out there? What other sonic secrets are waiting to be discovered?
There's a whole world of sound out there. Go explore it.